Welcome to the Switch webinar Q&A series. We are here today with Austin Coding Academy with one of their founders, Luke Filipos.
Yep.
And we're just going to ask you a few questions, Luke, if that's cool.
That's totally fine. Thanks for having me.
So, Luke, what motivated you to start a boot camp with your founders?
Gosh. Well, a couple of things. The first, I guess, was just a ton of frustration. So Chris and I have a business background. We run a wholesale textbook company. We've been doing that for about 4 years now. And before that, we worked with a sales training company out of Nashville. And that's where we ran a sales training school. And anyways, after leaving that company and then launching our own the textbook company, we have always just had a kind of spirit for launching our own projects and trying new things. And so we've obviously had a lot of ideas in the past, but every time we would try and launch something, especially tech related, we would always run into the problem of just not having the skills to really carry it out. So we came from a very much a business background, but we were frustrated because either we couldn't build an MVP for an app idea or building a really effective website for a service that we wanted to provide. It just wasn't very we couldn't do it on our own. And then when we tried to outsource it either to development shops or bring on a technical co-founder, finding a development shop that didn't charge a pretty ridiculous premium, or finding a co-founder that we could really communicate well with, that shared our vision for what we wanted to do was really, really difficult. So as we've done with a lot of things in our lives, we just kind of decided to strike out on our own and screw it up as much as possible and just try and make it happen on our own. And so we eventually just decided that we were going to learn to code. And then when we moved to Austin, I'd been coding for about 4 or 5 months, and I was taking classes with a school here in Austin, and afterwards I just realized that there was a huge demand for developers in the city, not just in Austin, but I guess in the whole rest of the country, and we just saw a huge need for it. And the other big reason why we decided to start is actually we don't really consider ourselves a boot camp. We saw that a lot of other coding schools were going down the boot camp road, but from everything that I've ever learned, whether it's sports or a language or a skill or anything like that, there's never been anything that, for me personally, I was really successful at if I tried to cram it all in 3 months and go from 0 to hero in 3 months. And so we really wanted to emphasize a more gradual progression. We saw a huge need for people that wanted to learn to code but didn't necessarily have 3 months and $10,000 to set aside, and so we really wanted to strike out and make coding available for everybody. For us, when we first started, and then as we've grown and seen more and learned more, for us, learning to code is about expanding your life, being able to really transform it into whatever you want, bringing your ideas to reality, either in terms of getting a new job or building a company or a product or anything like that. And so that was something that we really wanted to show that anybody could do. I mean, I'm not particularly any more skilled than the average person, neither is Chris, and when we started to learn a bit, we realized this is something that really everybody could do, but a lot of people were maybe a little bit intimidated. And so our goal, with everything from the way we run our class to the scheduling to the pricing to everything, is we want to make it as accessible to as many people as possible. We want to break down the barriers around coding.
That's fantastic. So I know earlier on the phone you said you had 3 more spots left at Austin Coding Academy.
2 now. well, we have two more for the survey course. We have about 8 left for the Python course. But yeah, we expect to be full within the next week.
So what kind of challenges have you faced before getting here? Like, you're about to start. Like, has it been difficult making it accessible and having competitive rates with the other Austin boot camps?
That's the thing. It's definitely been a lot of hard work. There hasn't been I'm trying to think the best way to answer this. For the other, like, we really believe that we're not competing with any other boot camps, especially because there's such a massive demand. You know, the people, you know, to my knowledge, there's CoderVox, there's Maker Square. There might be one or two other schools here in Austin, and we fully support both of them. They both do things a little bit differently than us, and there's going to be some people that we talk to that, for a number of different reasons, will never jibe with the way that we work, and we happily send them over to CoderVox and to Maker Square. You know, conversely, there's a lot of people that would really be excited about the way that we do things versus other people, and so. What we started to realize early on is just that there is this massive desire for companies to hire developers, for people to learn to code for their own companies, for their own projects, for their own ideas. And I guess the hard part was really focusing ourselves and picking one thing to do and to focus on, because there's such a massive there's so many directions we can go with it. So I guess I don't know if this is answering the question properly, but in regards to the other coding boot camps or coding schools, we want to support them as much as possible. I think the more we support each other, the more the Austin tech scene is going to grow, and really the more we're going to be able to help the rest of the area grow.
I agree. I feel like it's in terms of education, the more people that are educated, especially in a field that is growing so large, it's better to be supportive than competitive.
Yeah.
And like speaking back to going into so many directions, where do you see Austin Coding Academy in 5 years?
Oh gosh, it's funny because we actually just had a meeting 2 nights ago planning out the next 2 years. At 5 years, at that point, we try not to look too far ahead because we want to stay focused on what we're doing right now. But best case scenario, what we would love to do is make coding something that's, again, our ultimate vision is to bring coding to as many people as possible. So we want to do that internationally. We want to do that here in Austin. Already we have a scholarship available for Austin ISD for students there. We see ourselves moving outwards and hopefully bringing this to other, like I said, other countries. In the short term, what we're doing, we're going to be having right now we just have intro level courses. We're going to be having advanced level courses, and we're going to be working on a trimester system. So over the next year, we're going to be expanding not just from Python and front end HTML and JavaScript, but we're going to be moving towards an advanced Python course. We're going to be working towards mobile development. We're going to be working towards advanced web development. We're going to be working towards databases. Those are all courses that we hope to be offering early 2015 in February. And we would like it to be a full year curriculum, three full trimesters for students, again, so that they can develop the type of skills that they need that will really give them the foundation for their career, either with another company or with themselves later on. I could talk about it for hours for all the ideas that we have, but our ultimate goal is to be a full year-long curriculum where students can go from having absolutely zero knowledge whatsoever to being a developer level job or being able to fully launch their own company.
Fantastic. So earlier you said that in some cases you have sent students to CoderVox or Maker Square. Do you have any advice for students who want to go to Austin Coding Academy? Like, what kind of traits should they have? What kind of background or experience, or I guess ramping up to attend your specific courses?
The biggest thing that we look for in students is a desire to learn. The synergy within the course between the students is something that we have spent so far a really long time, a lot of work thinking about and organizing, and the synergy between students is really, really important to us. The accountability. So a desire to learn is extremely important. We've gotten so many cool essays in from applicants. We had one guy say, I've been working in the same job for the last 12 years, and I want to, it's not what I want to do, and I'm ready to make the jump, and I want to learn. We've had we had a girl who is launching a startup. She actually just got funded, and she's like, I'm going to be a CEO and for my startup, and I got to know what to do when I'm talking to developers because it's a financial literacy application for kids for high school and lower, and it's really just this. Whether they're employed by somebody else or whether they're self-employed or launching their own company, the biggest thing that we look for, I guess, is an entrepreneurial mindset and attitude. Just somebody who is willing to take the jump, to take a little bit of a risk, somebody who's not afraid to fail, somebody who is okay with stumbling a little bit and asking for help. That's one thing that we really emphasize in our class is that included in tuition, there's unlimited one-on-one help with mentors and tutors. So that's part of what we do, and so in order to take advantage of that, you got to be able to ask for help, and that's for people that are struggling, and also for people that want to get ahead. We've got some students that are going to be very, very, they're just going to be very strong students. That they already have a bit of a tech background, and we expect them to pick up on things really, really quickly. But we don't want them getting bored in class. We're going to be pairing them up with mentors and having them work on other projects outside of class as well too.
Great, that's awesome. It's really it must be really rewarding to see somebody excel when they have like zero knowledge about something.
It is. We've had a couple meetup sessions. Just we have pre-work for our classes, and so we've had a couple meetup sessions where students come in, and we have our instructors kind of give a little presentation and also work with students if they're having a little bit of help. And there's some students, just very, very new to anything tech, brand new computer, and they're still trying to figure everything out, and seeing them write their first program and say like, holy cow, like I did that, like I've seen that on a website and I just did that myself, like that's really cool, and just seeing that spark in their minds of like, okay, if I can do that, what else can I do, is 100. I mean, that's why we do this. That's exactly why we do this.
Amazing. So you are the first startup or boot camp that we are interviewing at the ground level. Do you have any advice for people who want to start a boot camp that feel like they can use their knowledge to help people?
Yeah, it's a great question. I didn't really think about that before, but for Chris and I, when we started, we recognized this need that we thought was really really prevalent for another school in town. And it was really easy, especially in the beginning, to see these other schools that have been successful and been around for a while. And so at first we were a little bit intimidated. So what do we do? Do we copy them? But we want to say ourselves. And I guess my advice and what's really just been extremely helpful for us has been not to worry about other people. Like, focus on what you do best. Focus on things that are important to you and play your strengths. For us, we just started talking about the things that we really love, which is helping people build their ideas, helping people build businesses, helping people build themselves. And that has guided everything that we do, and I think helped us build a little bit of a personality that people can identify with. And no single personality is going to identify with every single person, and I think it's important to recognize that. And again, just be yourself as a person and also as a school, and don't worry about competition, because I think we're all here to help each other out, and I think the better we all do, everything will work out for the best for all of us. So yeah, I would just really say focus on your strengths and focus on things that you care about most.
Great. Do you see boot camps replacing college or parts of college?
Absolutely. I have the textbook business that we still run. We've been involved in higher education for a while now. We get a chance to meet with students. We get a chance to meet with professors, just kind of tangentially as a kind of side benefit or side aspect of our job. Education as a concept, I think, is one of the most important things that anybody can do. Higher education or institutionalized education is something that I know I'm not the first person, and definitely not the last person, to comment on how it might not be as effective now as it once was, and especially considering how much in demand developers are and how powerful of a tool set coding really is. Uh, you know, I have friends, I have developers that haven't graduated college and they make very good money, and and it's because they learned how to code. So yeah, I see that as definitely alternative, if not maybe in the future, the prerogative to learn to code.
Great. Um, we are in the same boat, and that's why we have created Switch. um, for students who are thinking about moving to Austin, what is the job market like here? Can you have, have a few words about that?
In terms of coding and development, or just in general?
Coding and development. I guess, why is Austin a prime place to learn how to code and then graduate and look for work here?
So anybody that has been around Austin for a couple months, and certainly people that have been here for a few years, a decade, that have grown up here, have seen that Austin, as it is right now, is very different from where it was 5 or 10 years ago. The city is massively expanding. It's booming. It's growing. The development world. So Chris and I were sponsoring a meetup, Refresh Austin, a few weeks ago, and at the beginning of the meetup, it's a large meetup, and they had a couple hundred people there. And at the beginning of every meetup, they have a time where attendees can get up in front and say either that they're looking for a job or looking to hire somebody. And about 20 to 25 people got up just at this meetup. And I expected most of them, probably 90% of them, to be saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a job," because that's just what I imagined it was like. All but 2 of them were looking to hire people. It was, to me, very revelational just seeing visually in front of me how much in demand developers are. Why move to Austin? Because, again, it's very young. Why come to Austin to learn to code? They call it Silicon Hills. It's definitely not on the same level yet that the Valley is, or Silicon Alley out in New York. And if coding is something that you're interested in doing, Austin's the place to be, because just like anything in economics, like, you want to get in on things early, and Austin's it.
Great. Well, I am out of questions. Is there anything else you would like to add about Austin Coding Academy? Any updates we should be aware
of? Registration ends September 1st. Like I said, the survey course is at this point pretty much full. There's still a couple slots left for the in-depth Python course. In general, if you are somebody that really wants to learn, but for whatever reason hasn't had the time or the inspiration or the accountability to learn, I think Austin Coding Academy would be a great step for you. And in general, whether it's with us or with another school, Makersquare, CoderVox, ACC, anything, whether it's with a tutor or somebody that just a friend, learning to code, I think is an incredible skill for anybody, and it's something that we would really, really encourage everybody to learn to do.
All right. Well, thank you, Luke, for telling us about Austin Coding Academy, and I really appreciate you taking your time to talk with Switch today.
Great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.